Today we are joined by the one and only Ted Poulos. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, this is amazing to be here.
Yeah, it's so good to have you here. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro and correct me if I'm wrong here. So you've been in the construction year for over 20 years as a site manager and a project manager.
Correct.
You are the inventor of TOUGHTRACKS. Now, TOUGHTRACKS is the only portable system that bridges over sliding door tracks and any other obstacles. Is that right?
That's exactly right. I've been a builder for about 15 years and I was just suffering this one particular problem for way too long and I just had to do something about it.
You did something huge about it. I love it. And that's why I consider you an inventor, because you do. You take a problem, you find a solution, and then you create it. And you're also the author of a couple of books, but the one that I'm actually reading at the moment is Built to Last.
That's right.
Fucking love it.
Thank you.
Tell me just a really quick brief about what it's about.
Look, it was a passion project. If I'm not working, I'm training. So I had all these ideas in my head that I wanted to document. I've got 20 years of doing triathlons and cycling and marathons. And I just thought people needed like a one-stop shop for fitness. So people who want to develop good habits, people that just have that mental block that stops them. And I also wanted to bring the focus back to physical exercise, not just diet. So I just documented my journey and what works. And I think all the tools that somebody needs to be active and make this a lifestyle. And that's exactly what's in this book.
It's a very good read.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to go into some quick fire questions.
Okay.
You've been in the construction industry for over 20 years, so it'll be so interesting to hear your perspective here.
Great. Let's go.
All right. Paper plans or digital plans?
Paper every day.
Radio on-site or silence?
Silence.
Morning toolbox talks or end of the day debriefs?
It's got to be morning.
Prefabrication or on-site builds?
Prefab.
One big general contract. Oh my gosh, I got to do that. Contractor. One big general contractor or multiple specialist subs?
One contractor. You pay a premium, but it's worth it in the long run.
What matters most on site?
Three things: speed, quality, and safety. I don't believe you sacrifice on any.
What's one industry habit that needs to be stopped immediately?
Authorities have to cut red tape.
Oh, okay. What's harder, starting a business or sustaining one?
Sustaining it.
What's the hardest part of running a business for the day-to-day?
It's got to be sales. We depend on sales. That's most important.
What's your biggest fear as a business owner?
Not taking big enough steps at the right time.
Best comeback when somebody asks you for a discount?
Look, it's not too expensive. You just can't afford it.
Damn. Do you learn more from failure or success?
I'm going to say success.
Discipline or motivation?
Discipline.
Why?
Because you got to do all these things that you don't want to do, and often it's without reward, and you have to do it like you love it.
Nice. Good. All right, so that's one part done.
Great.
Okay, how do you feel?
I like it.
Yeah, you're
fun.
very good. You're a natural. All right. Ready?
Sure.
All right, can you remember the exact moment on site where you thought, this is ridiculous, there has to be a better way?
I do remember the time. The first half of my career when I was a site supervisor, I was always taking instructions from the main manager. But there was one job where I became that site manager, so every decision was on me. And on those big jobs, there's just too many places where things can go wrong, and I had to give the instructions to all my boys. So when I just saw this one particular problem about damaged window tracks, it just stuck in my mind. It just got highlighted to me every single day. And there was just one pain that I hated because I knew I had to fix it later. There was no one else. It was on me. As a site manager, everything is on you.
So a lot of people see problems every day. Why do you think this one stuck with you enough to actually build something?
Like I said, as a site manager, I put all the responsibility on my own shoulders, and handing over a lot of units, you just don't have time to waste. And I made these mistakes myself. That's why I knew on the next job, I didn't want to make those same mistakes. And I wanted the settlement and the occupation to be really smooth. So fixing problems early was always going to trump trying to fix something later. And it turned out once I started to experiment with different ramps in this scenario, that was just one headache I didn't have to deal with. And I could actually put my boys onto more important tasks that helped the production of the job. And that was just a luxury. Putting them where I needed them, building the trust and comfort with the clients was just so valuable. And I'm just so happy that I invested some time up front to try to come up with a solution. And my goal here is not to make $1 million. I truly actually just want to contribute to the industry and just contribute some innovation that I think it's crying for. It's like one problem everyone's just overlooked. And I'm really impressed with the industry these days because they do a lot in site safety and site amenities. And unfortunately, accidents still happen, defects still happen, injuries still happen. And I just want to make my contribution with this very specific problem.
You're doing great at it. Tell me, as a business owner, how do you go from an idea, you're looking at the site, you're looking at, the things that frustrate you, to actually doing something about it, to actually having a product in your hands?
Look, I believe it really comes down to experience as well. What I'm doing now, I probably couldn't have done it 20 years ago. And I'm fortunate that now that at my age, I'm 42, I've been in the industry 20 years. Now I know people who I can call. I have the resources to go to. I have a little bit of money behind me so I can really do this properly. And early on in my career, I probably didn't have the experience and the know-how and the confidence to really dive deep on something like this. But now that I've been around, I've seen this problem, not just for myself, but I'm still seeing it with other people. And so in my heart, I can really feel that I'm going to contribute not just to my own job, but to everyone's job.
Yeah.
And that's important to me. Everyone has helped me in the past. I've had so many great mentors. This is one chance that I can pay back. And like I said, I suffered this problem myself for so long. I'm too deep into it to back down now. And if it's solving a problem for me, I know it's going to solve problems for other people.
Do you think mentors are important in this space?
Of course they are, because otherwise we're just going to go down the same road, the same wrong path that we were doing before. And it just accelerates your learning. I've learned so much off my mentors for the past 20 years. I've pulled rabbits out of my hat to get jobs over the line, to save time, to get occupation certificates, to get settlements. I understand what clients are really looking for. They really want to trust and be comfortable with the builder. When they're buying your apartment, you're asking them to spend $1.5 million, maybe more. So they're expecting perfection. So learning the best tricks in the game is the game.
Mic drop. So let's going into business again.
Sure.
So when people say be relentless, what does that actually look like as a business owner?
Look, the business is going to go with or without you. And I've really been fortunate to work with some big builders in the game. And I even I see Jeff Bezos, I see Elon Musk, I see Harry Triggerboff in Australia, and I see what they do. The business comes first. I mean, these guys are geniuses and they push wherever they need to and whoever they need to for the biggest goal. We're all there for the same goal. So to be relentless, I think they make fast decisions. They take action really quickly. And like I said, it's going to go with or without you. So you have to put all that other personal stuff aside and feelings aside sometimes and do what's best for the project. Because ultimately it's somebody's money. It's either your money in the project or you're building someone's home in this case. So we don't have time to muck around with that. Someone's going to pay for it somewhere. So we've got to take it seriously. There's heaps of fun to be had along the way, but being relentless, I think you just got to have that one goal in mind and never lose sight of that.
Do you think as a business owner, it's easy to have work-life balance?
I think there is. I think if you can have the best processes in place and just have staff who are on the same page as you, in those hours when you're at work, you take it serious and you just be as productive as you can be, 100% you should detach after work and just recharge. Because I know with my own experience in the industry, you're going into like a battle. You're going into a game every single day. So you do have to be recharged the next day and be prepared. So having that balance, for sure, we're all human. We need to disconnect and come back fresh the next day. So, what are you going to really achieve overnight? I think spend that time, invest that time in yourself to recharge, be happy, be with your friends and family. But the next day when you come to work, we're there to work.
How do you deal with staff who are not aligned with that message?
Well, staff who aren't aligned with that message, they kind of are going to fall away to the wayside because they're not going to keep up with the pace. The other colleagues are going to be upset with them. And then if you don't have that harmony, the project, it just doesn't run as smooth. I've been really fortunate to have really good teams, and it was really fun to go to work. We're all friends. We hang out after work. At work, I yell at them like anyone else, but they know it's about the work and the job, and we're there to work. And then people who aren't aligned with that, they naturally fall away. They leave, or you have to get rid of them. You don't want to disrupt that harmony in a team, like any sport team. It's important. If you're going to win, everyone wins together.
Yeah. Killer answer. All right. Let's move on to just problems on site. Sure. I know we've spoken already about a few of them. But again, being in the construction industry for over 20 years, how often do you still see accidents happen even when they're meant to be safe?
Look, unfortunately, accidents happen. I'm really impressed with where the whole industry is right now because I see everyone's qualified, everyone's trained, everyone has a license. I actually think sometimes it's overboard. There is so much signage on site. We have lighting, we have proper ladders with platforms, there's handrails everywhere. So it's really, really safe. And unfortunately, there's still that human factor, that element. Someone loses concentration for a second and accidents still happen. I believe it's great to be proactive with all that training and preparation. And good builders have to be reactive as well. Unfortunately, accidents will still happen and injuries still happen, which is why people can't get complacent and ignore new technology, ignore innovation, and just stick in their old ways. Like for every accident, like these are statistics from WorkSafe Australia, and anyone can go and see these stats on their interactive website. Like the construction industry is the second highest industry for injuries. Just in 1 year, 2023, there was like 16,647 reported injuries. And they say every workers' comp claim is $18,479 and 8.5 weeks off work. Now, for a builder or a boss, if your labourer or worker was injured, no one wants to go home injured, but you would pay double to reverse time and do something better. Yeah. So, okay, injuries don't happen that often, but they might happen once every 5 years. And you would still go back, and for that whole period, you would still do everything better to stop that one accident. And like the proof is there, that money, you're going to spend it when it's too late. So it's way better, obviously, to spend it earlier, invest that time earlier, and you're going to save someone's life potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the most confronting thing that you've seen personally that's gone wrong on site?
Look, two come to mind. One was a simple accident where a guy was walking down to the lunchroom. He slipped down the staircase because it was dusty. And thank God there was 2 handrails on the left-hand side because the lower handrail actually caught him from falling to the level below.
Oh.
Thank God he got up. Now, we could have easily just had one handrail like you would expect. But these days, they have double handrails just for that reason. There's another one that comes to mind. There was a tower crane being dismantled in Sydney. And it wasn't human fault. It was just a mechanical failure. The jib of the crane had fallen. It wasn't human fault. There was a sling that had snapped and the jib of the crane had fallen. It was just dangling there from the top of a building. The rigger who was dismantling the crane was hanging by his harness from about 26 levels in the air. And thank God again, the other rigger was an adventure guy, and he acted without thinking, walked down the jib of that crane and rescued him. And no one was hurt. But the fact that they had training, they had the harnesses, they had people supervising, all these were plan Bs, and something catastrophic was thankfully saved. So these are accidents you don't predict, but we have to be prepared for.
Okay. Have you ever seen something small turn into something serious?
I got to remember this one.
So anything small on site that was small hazard, that seems pretty simple.
I forgot this one.
That's all right. Let's go. We'll go next and we'll come.
Ask it again.
Have you ever seen something small turn into something serious fast?
Look, I have. What's serious for me is handing these units over at the end of a job. There was a client from hell maybe. There was just one thing wrong with his unit. And because he had seen it, then he started to go looking for everything. And before we knew it, we were rebuilding this one unit. And I don't think anything else was really wrong, but because he saw one thing, he lost a little bit of trust, a little bit of comfort. And instead of handing over that unit, we were basically rebuilding it just to get this guy over the line. And we lost 2 weeks, not a big deal, we could do it. But working for these big developers who want that settlement money, when you say the settlement is on this day, then you have to do whatever it takes to make sure settlement is on that day. It's scary to think what would happen if it's not. So we worked hard, we pushed, I paid overtime, and we had to sort of rebuild this unit because he wasn't happy with this. Then he found this, then he found this. And it was just because of that one thing that maybe was overlooked that he had found, and it just caused a big problem.
Very good. All right, let's talk about risks. So what's the risk that a makeshift ramp, sorry, let me do that one again. Okay, so tell me, what's the risk that a makeshift ramp can actually, sorry, let's do that again. Risk with a makeshift ramp. Okay. What's the risk with makeshift ramps that people don't realize until it's too late?
Look, the whole reason we use these makeshift ramps is because it's cheap and easy. And I'm guilty of it too. That's what we've always seen in the industry. People don't really want to spend money when they don't see it going to something in particular. However, there's like these indirect costs associated with these makeshift ramps that no one really sees, but everyone really pays for. And the risk with these makeshift ramps is that besides form workers who are excellent carpenters, no one else are really good at carpentry. So when we build them, they kind of fall apart, maybe in a day, maybe a week, or maybe a month. And so you're building these ramps over pipes, over sliding door tracks, over steps to make things easier for everyone on site. Everyone's dragging wheelbarrows and bins, and there's foot traffic all day long. So these makeshift ramps are actually being used a lot. But because they're cheap and easy, people think that's the answer, and it is most of the time. But where it goes wrong is when they start to fail, and then no one attends to it because the jobs are too big. Construction's so big and fast, you don't have time to go back twice. So they kind of get overlooked, they get left there, and people just keep walking on something that's already broken. It's rocking under your feet. And now that we're in this day and age of safety and doing everything right, like it's that one problem I said that people aren't really paying attention to, because slip, trip and fall injuries happen more than we realize. Like there was 4,902 slip, trip, fall injuries in 1 year. And again, that can contribute to an $18,000 workers' comp claim. But what I see when they fail, then you've got this timber sitting on a brand new sliding door. And I think someone's home, that sliding door track belongs to somebody. It's going to be their new home. And we shouldn't be treating it that way. If the clients come in and see you doing all these little things right, then I've experienced it myself, they just love you for it. And so issues later aren't issues anymore because they see that you've just done your best in building their unit, building their home and looking after it. If you've taken your time and care here, then they know you've taken time and care with the rest of their unit and the rest of the job. I would say even walking a dirty construction site. If someone overlooks cleaning their construction site, like automatically I think, what else is being overlooked? So you are doing your best to protect someone's unit and protecting your workers, saving labor time, but it's just building that trust and comfort with the end client at the end of the day.
Whose responsibility is it to make sure that that ramp is, safe?
Look, it belongs to many people. I truly think the builders who are responsible for the whole project, they should be protecting the site for safe access, and they do. So the builders can be building safe ramps, installing handrails, installing lighting, having signage on the wall, spray painting hazards on the ground. It's all on the builders to provide safe access and a safe site for all the workers. So in the main thoroughfares, I would say with ramps in particular, the builders should be building these ramps. But then the tradies are the ones building this job, and they equally are moving around the job. They've got tools, they've got trolleys, they've got wheelbarrows. So I really believe they have a responsibility to protect what everyone else has installed. So for example, a bricklayer I know, he's doing 300 apartments. Now, the whole facade of this high rise is brickwork. And the only way to get to that facade is move the bricks up a hoist through the units to that balcony to get onto the scaffolding or the screens. So they're constantly moving through the job as well. Now, to make their life easier, they don't want to be building makeshift ramps to get over the hobs, to get over those window tracks, to get out to where they have to work. So they bought 5. They got 5 amongst their team. And all it takes now is setting it up once. They go to that unit, they drop it in place. They can easily push their wheelbarrow out onto the scaffolding. They just pick it up, go to the next unit, easily move their wheelbarrow again onto that balcony. Same with the tilers. They're screening all these balconies. I've seen what they do. They use a tile as a ramp. They use a piece of timber as a ramp. Maybe they put a cement bag over the window and use that as a ramp.
So you're saying that when they bought 5 TOUGHTRACKS?
Correct.
And so what was the change? Like when you saw that they had put, after using the tiles and whatever else, so they put TOUGHTRACKS on, what was the difference?
Look, I was watching them, and what impressed me the most, they almost didn't even realize they were using it. It was just effortless. It's a simple thing just to get over that window track, and we all ignore it. They might just run over it and hope that something doesn't happen. But when I was watching them, like I said, they didn't even realize it. It was effortless. So that's saving of energy for them, that speed for them is worth time and money. Rather than spending half an hour on every single balcony moving that timber around, that could be 15 minutes. They don't need to spend that time. This is 0 setup costs now. And like I said, what I'm impressed with the most is just how effortless they're doing their job now. And that's the goal.
So once somebody sets this up at the beginning of a site, once the windows or tell me about the beginning process.
So what happens in construction, the structure will go up. Now the first part of that construction, the first part of the fit out to be installed are the windows. You got your truck on the bottom, the frame on the side, and the subhead. And then everything gets finished to the windows. So the flooring goes into the frame, the walls go into the frame, and same with the ceiling. The problem is the windows go in first, but then you've still got 12 months where construction is still happening and people are walking in and out all day long. So you want to do your best to cover it up and protect it because it's going to be there a long time. And unfortunately, it just takes one person to run over it the wrong way and then that track is bent. If it's not attended to, everything gets finished. Imagine handing over the keys to someone, not seeing it, and then you find this bent track. That's what the client's going to see. And that's what you have to try and fix. If that damage is bad enough, you have to pull that window frame out. How are you going to pull it out when the floor's finished, the walls are finished, the ceiling's finished, your lobby is finished, it's clean, the walls are painted? How are you going to pull it out? You turn your units into construction sites again.
So it's a small investment for long-term gains.
Exactly. You said it perfectly.
I'm not even in the construction industry and I can see how that would work. Okay.
I've learned the lesson myself. I've suffered it myself. I've demoed these units to fix my own window tracks. And it was the worst feeling to know I've got a clean lobby. I had to hand over in days. And here I am dragging 5 or 6 tradesmen up to this particular unit. And I said on the next job and every other job after that, I'm not making this mistake again. And that's how TOUGHTRACKS was born.
That's very good. I feel like we've answered this. The question is, hold on. What's one of the most common things that gets damaged on site? Do you feel like you answered that or is there something else?
Well, it's going to be the floor or the windows, I would say. So maybe we've answered that.
Yeah, I feel like we've might have answered that. We can do it again just to get more time. No, we'll keep moving.
Yeah.
How do difficult clients actually end up costing builders more than they expect?
In my experience, the difficult clients cost builders time because once they see one thing, they don't stop until they find everything. They will find problems that don't really exist, but it becomes an issue for them. And if it delays them paying you that settlement money, it's easier just to roll up your sleeves and get it done. But instead of fixing one thing, they make you fix 50 things. So it's always my belief now to do everything possible to have the most perfect unit that you can, hand over someone's house like it's your own, make them feel welcome, make them feel comfortable and trust you, because then they'll let little things go. Often some things are easier to let go than to rebuild. I'd easily say sometimes to a client, it's better not to touch that because you're going to do more damage than what it's worth. Unfortunately, building units is not a perfect art right now, but you got to do your best because they're paying a lot of money. So if you do all that effort, if you put in all that effort up front, installing it well, protecting it, then at the end of the job, it's still going to be brand new and the clients are going to love you for it.
Good. All right, let's talk about injuries on site and then we'll move on to TOUGHTRACKS. So how do on-site injuries affect a business beyond the single incident?
Look, the problem with the injuries, not only are you paying that workers' comp claim and looking after that person, you're losing all that time. So if someone's off work for 8.5 weeks, then there's somewhere in the project that is losing in production because that guy's not there. Or you're spending more money to replace him. You got to bring someone else in and effectively pay twice. And you're bringing someone else in who maybe doesn't know the project. You got to hold their hand a little bit. You got to teach them and train them just to fill that void. So like I said, if there was an injury and you've experienced something like that, I would say almost every single time you would just turn back the clock and do whatever you could to avoid that. It's just not worth it. Like rushing at the beginning always catches you at the end. So people shouldn't misunderstand speed for rushing. I think that's a huge misconception. You can definitely have speed, but you need the right people, right processes, the right tools and equipment, and you can go fast. With the right manpower and the right equipment, you can go fast without compromising quality or safety. But it's not rushing and it's not cutting corners. I truly believe investing time at the beginning, you're going to save all that time later because you're not going to miss your occupation date and you're not going to get calls 1 year, 2 years later for defects. Trust me, you do not want those calls 2 years down the road. That is the worst thing.
Why?
Because you think you're out and then going back 2 years later, imagine how much time that is. You have to drive there. You have to bring tools there. You have to bring men back there. Someone's living there. You got furniture in your way. You got finished walls, finished ceilings. How are you going to fix anything? As soon as you start cutting holes, you got to fix those holes. And it just one thing leads to another. And so doing everything retrospective isn't a good idea. Fixing it later, she'll be right, and fixing it later comes around really quickly. Better to do it right the first time.
Yeah, it's a very good. All right, let's talk about TOUGHTRACKS. For someone who is new to TOUGHTRACKS, tell me a little bit about how it works.
Okay, TOUGHTRACKS was designed to be a portable ramp system. So someone could just grab it from the shed and throw it down in a minute without any worry, without tools or anything. And I wanted that speed and portability and reliability. So when I needed something quickly, it was there. And that's something that the industry is missing, because you would have to go find timbers on the ground. You'd have to go find the plywood. You have to cut it to size. You'd have to carry several pieces to that work area to fix it. So the whole goal of TOUGHTRACKS was to have something portable and easy that you could grab. They're only 7 kilos or for the larger ramp, 15 kilos. So you can easily grab it with one person and put it down. I always wanted my guys working in production rather than these sort of silly, mundane tasks. So later on in my career, lucky I've met good people and I've got the good resources behind me. So I knew where to get this developed. And now that I've got a little bit of money and experience behind me, it was time to really get this developed properly.
Tell me, how does it actually work? So when somebody gets the product, how do they put it together?
Sure. So look, it will get delivered to you in a box and it just sits together like Lego. You got one ramp, 2 ramps, and then you got the bridge piece in between, and there's 2 connecting rods. So the bridge will sit to the ramp like a knuckle so it can pivot. So if your ground is a little bit uneven, it still works. I wanted that versatility. You don't need complete level ground. So you can use it on level ground. You can use it on hobs that have got a step in it. And they're designed for most scenarios on construction sites, where it's 150 mil hob, 50 mil hob, 100 with a window on top. There's enough versatility that it can sit on different levels. So it's as simple as putting the bridge into the knuckles on each ramp, putting 2 connecting pins in, and you can use it. There's some added features, because I know on construction sites that things go missing, things get stolen, people want to tamper with it. So I've tried to consider all those scenarios. So there's 2 holes on both ramps. You can easily bolt them down to the concrete floor. No one's going to steal it. The rod that goes through the knuckles, okay, someone can take that rod out and pinch it just to tamper with your site. But the way I've designed it, you can padlock it. No one's going to pull it out. And so you can leave it there for the long term. That's the whole idea. You can be portable and it can be there for the long term. So I've tried to cover all the bases. So there's anti-theft, it's safe, and it's just going to save you labor time.
And it's amazing because you've got such big insight to being in the industry for so long. You would know. You would know the things that
I
this
believe
needs.
I know. I've got enough experience and I've seen it enough to know what I wanted.
Yeah.
I knew it had to be safe. So the color is a highly fluoro orange, and also the tread pattern on the surface is P5. It's been slip tested and rated at P5, which is the highest anti-slip rating you can achieve. So it ticks those 2 boxes for me, and it also ticks the box of load capacity. So it can handle 300 kilos. So for foot traffic, for wheelbarrows, for bins, for trolleys, it's perfect for that. It's not designed for vehicles and forklifts and larger equipment like that, maybe TOUGHTRACKS 2.0. But for the purpose that I wanted, for that portability and that reliability, this is absolutely ideal. 300 kilos, no one can lift a wheelbarrow that's 300 kilos.
How do they get them over at the moment? Just like even with, I can't imagine it even with a makeshift ramp. That
They
would
struggle.
Be so,
Exactly.
Would the wheelbarrow actually tip sometimes?
It does tip. Exactly. People are suffering from this little problem, like tipping a wheelbarrow. Okay, you can pick up the bricks, but it's just an extra 5 minutes you didn't want to spend.
Of course. And in terms of, so 300 kilos, is that just for one?
The whole set is rated for 300 kilos, and the weak point of that set is the mid-span. The ramp itself can handle my ute. I've driven my ute on the ramp, but not across the span. The bridge part is 300 kilos. That's the failure point. And I've tested it in a few different labs, and it's failed above 300 kilos. But for safety, I recommend 300 kilos maximum and 250 as a safe work load. But it does handle more than 300 kilos.
And when would there be a scenario where you'd put 2 or 3 next to each other, or how many can it fit next to each other?
Look, it was ideal that I built it modular. I trialed ramps that were wider, but they were just too bulky. And that's what I wanted to avoid. And also the tooling cost for a bigger ramp is really high, and it would have just made the price for everybody too high. So I decided to make it modular. So the current ramp is 380 mil wide, which is perfect for people with wheelbarrows. That's all you need. You can comfortably walk over that with a wheelbarrow. And that size also means you can put two side by side and fit through all the doorways. Now, having two side by side is 760 mil, which is enough for all our wheelbarrows, our bins, and trolleys. So two side by side is ideal. Three, it's like you're driving a Rolls Royce. But for the modular component, that was the best way. So I could achieve something that was light, something that's portable, but then something that you could build on. People can build on that. And if they wanted wider, then they can have wider.
Answer's so good, man. I feel like with these other questions about product, we've kind of answered. So what problem does it remove from a site before it even becomes an issue? Do you feel like you've answered that, or should we ask that?
Well, we can go down that road.
Yeah, because we've got 23 minutes. We've got just a few questions left in the testimonial.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I've got to do that, yeah.
So do you want to do anything with the book?
Just like one reel would be great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is there any questions or anything that you want to talk about that I haven't asked yet?
I think what the questions remaining were pretty good.
Obviously.
Maybe what are people saying about it?
Yeah.
So they think other people are using it?
Yep, perfect. All right. Well, then we'll just go back to, I'll answer this. You might be repeating yourself a bit, but it's at least we've got
it in
content.
the can.
Yep. Okay, I'll ask this one again. So what problem does it remove from a site before it even becomes an issue?
Look, straight away, it just eliminates bent sliding door tracks. I've walked around some big sites, and I'll give you two scenarios. One was a childcare centre. There were 7 door openings between the classrooms and the outdoor play area. Now, the windows get installed first, and then everything's built to those window frames. There was 2 out of 7 that were already damaged maybe 2 days after they were installed. That's just under 30% of the windows. I walked another high-rise job, and there are hundreds of units, but let's say I walked the first 12. I saw 4 tracks already bent because there's that many walkways. People are walking in and out of these places all the time. That's 4 out of 12. Those numbers are crazy. Who wants to go fix 4 window tracks at the end of the job? Nobody. I don't want to be handing over those damaged window tracks either. And the fact that it happened so quickly, it's not a case of if they get damaged, it's a case of when they get damaged and how many are going to be damaged. So by installing TOUGHTRACKS early, put the window in, install them straight away, you're just eliminating that risk even more. And that's where the value is. Once it's happened, it's too late. Don't use my TOUGHTRACKS after that. It's too late.
Too late.
These are for new windows that you want to protect and cover up and look after. It's an accident. Someone's going to hit it. It's an accident. No one's hitting it on purpose. But, those numbers say so much to me. It's like 30%.
So what would it cost someone to fix those bends?
Well, how about I give a worst case scenario?
Okay.
You've straight away got one injury. Someone trips on it. One injury is $18,000. Okay. Let's say the track is that bad. You have to pull it out. You've already finished tiling and gyprocking, all that. How much is a new window frame? Plus the labor, plus that time. It could be $5,000. You got to redo the tiles. You got to redo the walls. You got to repaint it, clean the unit. It could be $5,000. So already we're over $20,000. For $20,000, you could have bought over 50 ramps for all your jobs for life. It's these indirect costs that maybe you don't feel at the beginning. And hopefully you never feel these costs. But ultimately, that's what happens. You'll pay for it at some point. I remember on my jobs, one of my tracks was slightly dinged. It had a little nick in it, but I never saw it. But at the end, when we were testing units, the door was catching. And I just could not let the client see it. They were going to pick it 100%.
This is before on one of your tracks?
On one of my projects when I was building.
Oh, yep. Before TOUGHTRACKS.
Before TOUGHTRACKS. And there was no option. There was no way to fix it. The only option was to replace it. So I had to pull it out. There goes the tiling. There goes the flooring. There goes my ceiling. Pull it all out. Get the rubbish out. Bring a new window in. That all costs money and it all costs time and it costs a freaking headache. So that is worth every dollar to me up front.
Yeah, 100%. That's insanity. Okay, so let's say a builder asks, why is TOUGHTRACKS worth it? What would you say to them?
Look, these builders, if they've experienced the same headache as me, they would understand why it's worth it. Because you're saving on labor time at the beginning. You're saving on potential injuries. You're going to finish your project with a much better quality finish. And they were the things that I was always looking for in myself. And I believe if I was looking for that, there are many good builders out there and they're also looking for that. They want the best quality product at the end of the day because it's their name on that project. And I guarantee if something did go wrong at the end, before a client sees it, they would do anything they could to go back and do it right the first time. And doing it right the first time saves you that time at the end. Time is money.
Time is money. Tell me about some success stories. So tell me about somebody who you saw the problem and they ended up buying TOUGHTRACKS. Tell me about that story, what it was like.
Look, there's one particular job I'm thinking of in Queensland. He bought TOUGHTRACKS, not for the window frames because they're not installed just yet, but he had side issues where he had concrete lines going across footpaths. He had a dewatering pipe going across a main footpath because where he had to discharge the water. And he knew about TOUGHTRACKS and he bought them specifically to put in that walkway to get over those pipes. And it's a main thoroughfare for at least 12 or 18 months. So you got people walking there all day long, month after month after month. And so when he's put it in, he's obviously, because it's a big job, it's very hard to carry tools and timbers and stuff all the way up on that podium. But when you're carrying a couple of ramps, you can carry them in two hands. And he loved that his labor didn't have to waste so much time on building these things. And he loved that he could rely on these ramps to never fail. Like we know timber is just going to break and crumble and you've got to go back and maintain them. So he actually really liked that. He could just set it up once, it bolted to the floor, they're never going to move and they're never going to be stolen. He actually sent me a voice message. Can I play it?
Yeah, play the voice message.
Okay, hang on, let me find it.
I actually can't believe these things haven't existed before.
Me too. And I really believe this product has been left for me. So I'm so passionate to sort of follow it through now. Okay, here it is.
Hey man, it's AJ. I bought your TOUGHTRACKS, man. They're working great. I've got them on my podium. I've got them over some deep watering pipes, some concrete lines. Yeah, I can't believe how quick and easy they were to set up. It's frustrating, the labour time. I've got to waste building plywood ramps and they break down. But yours are holding up perfectly, man. I've had hundreds of workers over them, wheelbarrows, material, and they're working perfect. So I'll definitely be in the market for more as I need. Thanks, man.
I love that. So this is the builder?
Yeah.
So this is the builder.
He's the site manager, the builder for that big project. And sometimes, definitely when I'm doubting myself about this, like hearing messages like that just gives me the confidence that I'm really onto something with this and that everyone's finding value out of it. And so hearing something like that, it's just made everything worthwhile.
It does, because being in business is tricky and you just don't know and you're hustling and it's invisible hustle.
Absolutely,
but when you hear
correct.
something like that.
Correct. And, you know, those moments of doubt always creep in. I can't lie, they creep in. And I just have to remind myself why I started in the first place. And then sometimes messages like this come back to me, either phone calls or voice messages or text messages, and it just gives me confidence that there are people out there who genuinely need this and who are enjoying it. It's one headache. Builders have enough headaches. So it's just one particular headache that is off their mind now, And I'm happy about that.
It does make sense. Like I said before, I'm not even in the building industry. I'm not in construction, but I can even just think about projects that we've done in our backyard where I can just imagine if I had something that was, I guess, bridging an obstacle, that would be so much easier. Just as
Absolutely.
as I said, not in any particular industry, just doing home stuff. Because I guess, the bridge can be used for, or TOUGHTRACKS can be used for anything really.
Look, there's huge application and even applications I haven't thought about, but even labourers working at home, even landscapers working at home might have to take wheelbarrows of soil to the backyard, taking plants to the backyard. Someone's going to have a step somewhere, and it's just a little pain in the ass to get that wheelbarrow over the step.
Is it mainly with wheelbarrows though?
Look, wheelbarrows and bins are the two big things. People roll drums of cable. People will roll pipes. People will drag ducting. People do all sorts of things that you wouldn't even believe. It's not only wheelbarrows, but we'll leave it there.
No, that's perfect. All right, we'll talk about where to buy it, and then we'll go on to.
Sure.
All right, so who's TOUGHTRACKS actually for?
TOUGHTRACKS are for a few people. They're for the builders because I believe the builder has that responsibility to provide a safe site. So they can put TOUGHTRACKS in the main walkways, in the thoroughfares. They do really well on site safety. So rather than have this slippery plywood that is slippery when it's dusty or when it's wet, they can do away with them and use TOUGHTRACKS in those main walkways. But it's also for tilers and bricklayers and landscapers and cement renderers who are moving wheelbarrows of material all the time. And so they have a responsibility to not to damage other people's work. They are making their day easier by using these things. And I watch them. They use timber and plywood and they just build something easy because it's there and that's what we've always known. But in scenarios when you just need to get up and over a hob and up and over a window, these are designed specifically for that.
Where can builders get it?
Builders can go to www.toughtracks.com.au. They can order online. The warehouse will see the order. In 1 or 2 days, it dispatches straight to you Australia-wide. If you're in Sydney, I'm partnered with a few hardwares. So Maroubra Building Supplies is one. Mitre 10 in Motorvale. Seymour Building Supplies, they're in Gladesville. Honcho Building Supplies, and also Timber Fix. And there's another one in Queensland, All Fix Fasteners. So all these guys are partnered with me and TOUGHTRACKS, and you can call them and they can also send you TOUGHTRACKS too if you have an account with them. Or you can go online and just order them through my website like any e-commerce website.
Where do you see TOUGHTRACKS in 5 years from now?
I see a range of TOUGHTRACKS. So the way I've built them now is kind of fixed in terms of the size because the molding is one size. But I can see other sizes. I can see for accessibility for wheelchairs and accessible ramps. Currently, TOUGHTRACKS is not an accessible ramp. They're too steep. They just have to be up and over and fit a certain size of the balcony. So I can see a range of TOUGHTRACKS in terms of size, but I can also see other products. Once TOUGHTRACKS really establishes itself in the market, like I know it can, then there are other products in my mind that are just going to complement TOUGHTRACKS really well.
Okay.
So I see a range of products.
How do you see TOUGHTRACKS changing the industry?
It's going to be one of those tools that people must have. They're going to use it once and then never look back. It's just one of those things where you just have to have it. You just naturally use it. There are other things like that, like handrails and lighting, and we tag our tools. Like there's all these things that we naturally do now. And I think TOUGHTRACKS can be one of those things. There's no more tiled ramps and timber ramps and just cover it up with some cement bags. It's just going to be a go-to tool.
Fucking perfect.
Is that good?
Very good. I think you went
Are you learning?
over. Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Isn't he a gun? It's
good?
very good. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So would you like to do fitness and do you want to change your top at all? Did you bring another
I've
top?
got another top, yeah.
Do you want to do like really quick top change and then we can talk about, because then you can use this footage for.
Maybe just one about what the book's about and who it's for.
Yeah, done.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I know we belong here. This is our space.
Okay.
You go
1 second.
change your top. We won't look. Hi, Ali. You good? Yeah, you're here till 8. What time did you start today? Perfect. I didn't realise you did the after hours too. But wait, when you have the other studio, are you going to be? I'm guessing you're doing more hours. You're just going to get more staff, I'm guessing. You can run in between. I will. Kyle took me through, I think it was just completely blank canvas, just showed me like where things are going to be. Really exciting. Yeah. Still a cool space compared to some of the other spaces I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no one that's nah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It looks like a linen shirt. It's a linen shirt. Yeah, it's good. All right, so doesn't matter. You're just talking from the heart. You're very good at how you speak. You're very good because you're passionate and you're talking, yeah. You're definitely talking from the heart. And like I said, we'll just take a couple of snippets of it. Tell me when you're ready.
Look okay?
Looks great.
Am I presentable?
Just move the mic back.
Okay. Someone's going to say I didn't button up my shirt enough.
No. I'd say unbutton one. You know.
Okay.
Ready?
But if you can say how much you like it, that's a great testimonial too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ready yet, but Ted Poulos, I am so honoured to be here with you today, the author of Built to Last. I am captivated by this book. I have been reading it nonstop and it's so educational, but it's actually really inspiring.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about how this all came about?
Look, it's a story I felt like I needed to write because I don't think there was a book that was like a one-stop shop for fitness. And I wanted to bring the focus back to fitness in terms of physical exercise. I thought the conversation was always diet and weight loss, but no one ever says, I need to do more weight training. I need to do more running. I need to do more yoga. And I wanted to explore why people like one thing over another. I've been really lucky to try many things and I can see how they all complement one another. And now 20 years in the fitness game, I feel like I've got good experience for what really works for the long term. I'm 42 now and I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. And I've completely changed focus and my priorities have completely changed from where I was 20 years ago.
What were you focused on 20 years ago versus now?
Well, back then was about the gym and just having a physique. I didn't really understand performance and I didn't understand gut health. I didn't understand why sleep is affecting our health. And now that I'm older, it's about mobility now. It's about strength training. It's about performance. And the physique is just a fortunate, what's the word? The physique is like a fortunate.
Like a benefit.
Yeah, okay, I'll use that.
That's why I'll edit. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to think of the word. So
the word that you wanted, benefit?
Yeah, okay. So my priorities have completely changed and it's not only about the physique, it's about mobility, it's about performance, it's about strength training for good joints. And the physique is just a fortunate benefit. of all that other good work. And so in this book, I just try to give everyone the right tools to be able to do this for the long term, because it's not a 6-week challenge. It's not a 12-week challenge. This is now a lifestyle thing that you can do all the things that you love doing as a kid and still do it in our older life. There's no reason to stop. I'm really lucky to train with people who are older than me, and they are still kicking my butt. And that just excites me because I know where I want to go and I know where I want to end up.
Yeah.
And it's like those people.
Yeah, I love that. So this book, who's this book for? Would it be more for people of an older age, a more mature age?
I want to say it's for people who are just lacking the knowledge to really get into it and who want to start. And at the same time, maybe for younger people, because it's going to give them the right tools to develop and adapt to at the beginning. Anyone can get fantastic gold nuggets of information from this book, but maybe it's those two categories that it's the best for, because there's no excuse that should stop you from doing something. And usually there's something lacking, which is what's stopping us from continuing to do the fun activities that we love to do. I love bike riding. I love swimming. I love lifting weights. And, you know, I use yoga and weight training and running for all different purposes. If I need to just relax after a day of work, I actually enjoy going for a run. It just calms me down. If I want to enjoy myself with my mates, I might go to the gym and lift weights with them and we just have the best time. So my fitness is kind of my social scene too.
I find as well on social media now, there's so many messages out there. You need to push weights, you need to go to the gym and do yoga, or you need to, you know, there's so many messages. You know, now it's all about the peptides and, you know, what you need to do there. And I find that this book, it's educational. It's not like fluffy, you know, what's the new fade kind of talk. It's about like like you've got sleep, different types of like when you know you're actually getting a good sleep. What is, out of everything that you've written in this book, what is probably the one message that you would love to share?
Look, you're right. Thank you for those words too. The one message is that there's not one right answer. So I'm not preaching one method over another. In fact, I'm promoting all these different methods. So if you like one particular style of training, you should absolutely do that, because you're going to be able to do it for the long term. And that's the key. Longevity is a word that everyone's using now. And so finding what you love and doing it and never stopping is the key. And so I want to talk about all the different training styles in here, and it might help you choose one over another. And it might actually help you decide how you can use 2 of them or 3 of them to complement each other. I actually use yoga in my weight training, because now I warm up doing a mini yoga routine and I just feel loose and good to start that workout. And now that I've learned about mobility and recovery, I actually spend more time prioritizing that than trying to, you know, flog myself in the gym all the time. So it's a matter of, there's not one right answer. It's a matter of finding what's important to you and what you enjoy, because you're going to be able to do that week after week and month after month and year after year. And that's the goal of this book, to give you all the tools, and then you can decide what works for you.
I like that this method it's sustainable.
Yeah.
It's a method that's like, here, I'll give you the educational pieces. These are certain programs that you can do. These are sort of things to watch out. I saw in there, like you haven't gotten to the part yet, but about insulin spikes and understanding your body and when to eat, when to train, all of that. And then just, obviously gives you those tools to then work out how you're going to sustain it, rather than it being like an overnight fad or a, you know, like, oh, this week I'm going to be really good, because there's that whole notion of this week I'm going to be good, and then next week you end up sitting on the couch doing nothing.
That's right.
So I find that this is a good way for people to be sustainable in their fitness and health journey.
And that's exactly what the title is, Built to Last.
Built to last.
And that's the goal of the book, because I'm 42, I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. And I was just so blessed to be able to document it and put it into this book. And I just want to encourage other people to do it. I'm not an Instagram influencer in fitness at all. I'm a bit more traditional in writing books like this. But it was great for me to reflect on my own journey, and the photos in here are really beautiful photos too.
Great photos.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to work with a great photographer. And look, it's not about me. It's just it does show my journey a little bit through the photos, and I'm proud of that. But it's more about just demonstrating what's possible. And like I said, I train with people who are older than me, and they are still performing so well. And so I just want to be like them and still do this stuff when I'm older. And I just don't want to see people give up because they're injured or they don't know what to do, because the information's here now. Just pick up one book. And maybe if you like this book, you're going to find somebody on the internet who you align with. And that's what I would also suggest. Find someone you like and just align with them. It is overwhelming. I get overwhelmed reading and following these guys myself. And I try and align with just a handful of guys because it's too much. We've got 7 days in the week. And that week just goes around really quickly. So I've just found what works for me. I like variety. That's what works for me. And I just keep a base of weight training. I'm a big believer of that. But then all my competitions and events, I'll specialize for a few months in running, in bike riding and triathlon, and just keep that base of weight training.
You've recently you did a marathon in Greece.
That's right.
Tell me about it.
Look, Greece was special, partly because I am Greek, and it's the real authentic marathon. It's run from Meriton into Athens. So I thought, if there's going to be a marathon I'm going to run, let's do this one. This one's special. So I ran it. It was a PB. It was an incredibly hilly course, so it was difficult. And it was just a mental battle the whole time. And thankfully, I've got reference experiences behind me because I knew my body was telling me to stop. But I knew my mind was telling me to stop, but my body was capable of way more. And just having these experiences before, I knew that I just had to shut down those thoughts. And you know what happened? I was able to finish the marathon in great time, and I look back on it with good memories. Yeah,
you look amazing doing it. Like I saw I think you put up some of the hills and.
Yeah, thank you.
Incredible. You're made for big things. Where can we buy the book?
So the book's available on my website, builttolast.net.au. builttolast.net.au. It's only $29. You cover the shipping as well. I encourage everyone to buy it from my website because the printed copies I have are excellent quality. You will see it on Amazon and other online bookstores, but my website with the hardcover book that I have is the copy to buy.
It is. Very good book. Very good quality.
It's great quality. The hardcover is worth every dollar.